Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide, and if you've been around the game as long as I have, you remember the Alpha 2 releases, where we had Port Olisar, Cryastro Services, Security Port Korea, the ruined Kovalek Station, and the one Array, and the listening station where Tessa Bannister worked. And then about a year later, the first iteration of Grim Hex. Then we suddenly got procedural planets, and there was so much more to go and see and do, and we thought, wow, we thought we knew what Star Citizen was, but this is a whole different game. And as you might guess from the title of this video, I believe there is another thing coming up that will hopefully, not that far in the future, again have us thinking that we thought we knew what Star Citizen was, but it is not. And if you're thinking that what I'm talking about is persistent entity streaming or server meshing or pyro, you're wrong. But it does touch on them. In fact, it isn't any single item on the roadmap, but touches upon a great many of them. But the thing on the roadmap that is most tied to it is physicalized damage. And it is BTD being replaced by BTW. And don't go searching for either BTD or BTW on the roadmap. They don't exist there either. So I'm going to need to explain them. The B in both BTD and BTW is the same anagram, the big, obvious overthrow moment, or boom. Now, booms serve both a technical purpose and a storytelling purpose. The technical purpose is always to be a masking function to cover the replacement of one set of geometry for another. Booms also serve a narrative and gameplay purpose. They tell the viewer or player that victory and defeat has occurred and that you can move on to the next step. Sometimes I think the best reason to take the Call to Arms mission before doing a bunker mission or Siege of Orison is that you get a positive confirmation that you can stop shooting at that opponent, particularly considering how long some of the death animations are. So now that I've explained what the B is, what does BTD mean? BTD means boom, then dead. And every space computer game you have ever played has been boom, then dead. Right now, in Star Citizen, ship combat is boom, then dead, despite the fact that FBS has introduced the incapacitated state. And it has also been the standard convention in science fiction films. We know that Red 2 is dead and unable to help Luke in any way. Why? Well, there was a boom. You saw the boom, didn't you? We know that nothing will remain at the Death Star to menace the galaxy again. Why? There was a boom. You saw the boom. Boom, then dead. Whenever a character does survive the boom, then it is a major plot twist and confirmation that we are dealing with a major character. But with the implementation of physicalized component damage, BTD can and will be replaced by BTW, boom, then wrecked. There will still be, for visual purposes, the need for some sort of boom for gameplay reasons, so you and the opponent know that you are no longer present an immediate threat. And yes, there will be some circumstances, like slamming into a mountain or the sun, that will be BTD, but most will be BTW. And after the noise and flash, you will find yourself in a powered down and heavily damaged wreck, quite possibly with some level of injury to yourself. And certainly, if there was a decompression, heaven help you if you aren't in a flight suit and helmet or have one handy. And then what do? An interesting question. One you've never had to answer in a game before because they were all BTD. So, then what do? Abandon ship? Wait, finally a reason for those escape pods all these years? Not just that, but BTD also means a reason for rescue craft, since there's somebody to rescue. Or maybe stay and fight off the bounty hunter or kidnapper that is coming to get you. Remember that Bounty Hunting 2.0 will require that the hunter bring your body in, which again makes sense of the change to BTW. Or fight off the pirates attempting to steal your cargo, or maybe instead put in a call to a towcraft to bring your wrecked ship to where it can be repaired and the cargo saved. And right, we have a towcraft actively being worked on in the roadmap and recovery towing as a career right now. More reason for BTD to become BTW. Or call a salvage ship and try to recover your loss that way, hopefully beating the tow and salvage craft your opponent might be trying to bring in. Or maybe you think the damage is not that bad and you can patch it together a repair job yourself or bring in a repair ship. And yes, we have those repair ships planned too, although right now at least further out in the roadmap. Of course, if you can't be bothered with all that, you could always just hold down the backspace key, but it sure seems like you're cutting yourself out of a whole lot of new and novel gameplay opportunities. And that is why you don't see BTW replacing BTD on the roadmap, because it isn't a feature, but a meta feature that ties together a whole range of features that we have been seeing as part of the project for a long time. Damage states, escape, rescue, medical, captured bounty, physicalized components, physicalized damage, persistence, towing, repair, and salvage. With BTW, all these become interacting and helping other players. With BTD, I guess you could still have them, but they would all be reduced to missions dealing with corpses and inanimate objects. With BTD, B.O.O.M meant the curtain came down and the story got restarted. But with BTW, B.O.O.M is just an inflection point in the character's story. The plot takes one of several new directions, and new characters and new events come into play. It's a different story and a different game than the one you think you are playing now. At this point, I'm sure some of you are thinking, but is it realistic? Wouldn't an exploding spacecraft just kill everybody instantly? And with so many games and so many films presuming BTD, then it does seem that BTD must be realistic. But physics says no. The destructive force of an explosion, the blast of gases and shrapnel, all take the path of least resistance. And as soon as there is a route to the vacuum of space, that is the path of zero resistance, and the destructive energy is pulled outward, which from the outside actually means the B.O.O.M looks even more impressive, but not the inside. Do I have anything to back that up? Well, yes.
Houston, we have a problem.
Apollo 13. B.O.O.M then wreck. Apollo 13 suffered a catastrophic failure of a 36-inch diameter tank of supercritical oxygen at 1,000 psi after a fire started inside the tank. Simply put, a big boom. Yet the astronauts were uninjured, the capsule and heat shield undamaged. Only the very nearest components were damaged, all because the external panel was rapidly blown off and the blast went into space. And that is what makes me excited about this. It means, just like Apollo 13, what we thought was one story, a journey to a moon, can suddenly become an entirely different game than the one we thought we were playing. It reminds me of how we can sometimes get hyper-focused on some little component of the current game, like the lack of a move all button, and lose sight of the overarching feature development paths like physicalized damage and all the ways it has its fingers into so many areas that are experienced in the game. An entirely different game than the one we think we're playing. And now for an update on our Grow the Channel Ship giveaway. As of recording, we're at 86% of the subscriber goal and 82% of the membership goal, or the IE Expo, whichever happens first, to give away to some lucky player their choice of the Anvil Liberator, that ship for shipping your ships, or the Misk Odyssey, the long-length look-ahead launcher lorry. One entry per video. Members, you're entered automatically, and if the winner was a member as of the publication date of the winning video and at the drawing time, remember that if you've let your membership expire, they will win both the Liberator and the Odyssey. For non-members, just subscribe and comment with the secret word. And the secret word for this video is what BTW stands for. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond for Ray's Guide.